The sharp sounds of bells fill the space. She shakes her left wrist just slightly, and bells connect with each other, creating an overpowering harmony. It sounds like that of a baby moving in the womb. Those who first come across their music often question, is she a singer or a shaman? Music that sounds like a shamanistic song sung under a magical tree. What is this music that puts a big fat question mark over everyone's heads? What could it be?
저도 굉장히 신선한 부분인데 앨범을 처음 접했을 때는
It was very fresh and almost shocking for me when I first heard the album. I bet no one ever thought of combining black music and shamanistic music together. Korean traditional music has always been represented as a big part of history, but shamanistic music, on the other hand, has been considered minor. It's what comes from a shaman. So, it is very refreshing that they decided to work with it. Not only that, they gave birth to such exceptional music in the most unexpected way by combining it with black music, a genre that leads popular music everywhere in the world.
블랙 뮤직을 결합을 시킴으로써 굉장히 세상에 없던 어떤 그런 굉장히 매우 파격적인 음악이 나온 거죠.
Shamanistic music, one that has been long considered non-mainstream even within Korean traditional music and buried deep in prejudice and the past, has time-slipped to our contemporary world and transformed into groundbreaking music. Welcome to KBS World Radio Special Beyond K-Pop, dedicated to all who have awaited new music. Our first artist is CHUDAHYE CHAGIS. On the 23rd day of the 4th month of 2021, in the KBS studio, a funky ritual has begun. We present to you the Beyond K-Pop concert, where we introduce the hidden gems of Korean popular music beyond the K-pop genre. Our first group, CHUDAHYE CHAGIS, is here. The first song to kick off the concert was Pinasu. Pinasu refers to praying hands. It's a song performed during a ritual to connect to the gods. CHUDAHYE CHAGIS vocalist, CHUDAHYE, she holds bells that are typically found in a ritual with long white feathers pinned on both sides of her head, creating a stark contrast with the black clothes that she dons. Her steely gaze overpowers the studio. CHUDAHYE CHAGIS, who are you and where did you come from?
천공아 대천공아 네 설법을 빛이 시겨지죠. 저희는 스스로 저희가 정의하기를 psychedelic shamanic funk
We define
band이라고
ourselves as a
정의했어요.
psychedelic shamanistic funk band. It's a mix of genres, though of course it's based on shamanistic music, and we have fun by making it funky. We hope others see it that way as well. And no, I'm not a shaman, just a vocalist.
재밌게 놀고 있기 때문에 이렇게 이해를 해주시면 좋을 것 같습니다. 그리고 저는 무당이 아니고요, 네, 보컬입니다.
The vocalist CHUDAHYE gathered musicians dubbed as the Avengers of the indie scene and formed the four-member band CHUDAHYE CHAGIS at the end of 2019. First and foremost is the key member with the largest stake in the team, CHUDAHYE.
떡을 사시오 떡을 사시오 명떡 꼭떡을 사가시오.
In 2017, she performed for the American media organization NPR for their popular music performance program, Tiny Desk. She did it as part of the Korean folk rock band Sing Sing as a vocalist. They were the first Korean act to perform on Tiny Desk even before BTS. And next, the Chagis of CHUDAHYE CHAGIS, guitarist Lee Si-moon, bassist Kim Jae-ho, and drummer Kim Da-bin. They have been long known for their talents in playing complex black music in the indie scene. CHUDAHYE CHAGIS is comprised of these prominent figures. Within just 6 months of forming, they released their first studio album called Underneath the Tangsan Tree Tonight in May 2020.
원래 겁은 없어요. 그냥 뭔가를 하고 싶다고 느끼면 그냥 약간 앞도 뒤도
I've never been afraid to try new things. It's an intrinsic quality of mine to dive straight into whatever I feel like I want to do. And so I've done folk music, acting, then back to folk music again, and now I'm living my life as an active vocalist. The other day, I was told several times during an interview that I'm an artist standing on the borderline, and I really like that. Back in my 20s, to be told the same thing was seen more as a negative thing. You're neither good at this or that, and you should excel at just one thing. Be an expert in one field. That's what I was often told. But once I began to hear that this is something only I can do, I've been telling others myself I am a person on the borders. I want to do this and that. That makes me very happy.
경험하면서 이제 스스로 저는 경계에 있는 사람인데요. 이것도 저것도 하고 싶고요. 그걸 제가 선택해서 하는 거고 이게 너무 행복합니다.
CHUDAHYE, the go-getter, that's what I'd like to call her. Her experiences are broad. She even went to college twice, majoring in folk music and acting. This has, of course, contributed to her becoming an open-minded artist of the borders. It's in style to dig not just one, but several wells nowadays. Maybe that's the reason why, after the disbandment of Sing Sing, she became instantly obsessed with shamanistic music after watching a possessed shaman's passionate performance.
그래서 워낙 제가 뭐 연기든 노래든 뭐
I've never felt there to be any limits in acting, singing, or dancing, so I feel very free on stage. That's why when I saw the ritual, I saw it as art complete. A shaman's performance includes singing, dancing, and making the audience cry and laugh through acting, and that itself equals to complete art, a musical. And actually, while a shaman could be considered an artist, they could also be understood as a counselor and a generational healer. She performs a ritual to pray for you and to cry for you. How great of a theatrical device is that?
하는데 얼마나 그게 좋은 연극적 장치예요.
So to walk the path, she started by learning the shamanistic song from the province of South Hwanghae. Furthermore, after listening to the Chilmori-dang Yeongdeunggut shamanistic song, which has been designated as cultural heritage of global significance by UNESCO, she visited the famous shaman Kim Yun-soo at Chilmori Shrine, the human cultural heritage of Jeju Island, to learn shamanistic music. But there are many of you who associate rituals and shamans with creepy and scary imagery, right? According to Dae, that's what exactly resulted in difficult experiences for her.
한 때로는 제가 방울을 흔들고 여기를 이렇게 정화시켜주면서 뭐 어떤 그런 주제를 가지고
One time I performed at an art museum, shaking my bells and purifying the room. Then suddenly a high-ranking official came to the rehearsal and asked me if I am a shaman and what kind of a young woman would do such a thing. That shocked me. So in my heart, I have this hope that people would no longer see this music as something immoral, scary, or superstitious, but instead perceive it as something the artist has learned to communicate with the audience and motivates everyone to sing along.
만들어서 이 음악이 들어서는 안 될 음악, 뭐 무서운 음악, 뭐 미신, 뭐 이렇게 안 되었으면 좋겠다라는 마음이 되게 있었어요.
Oh, so you've decided to become a contemporary shaman and a musical healer by shedding light on shamanistic music, which has long been buried deep in the past and prejudice. Dear bandmates, I'm sure you've all decided to join in because you enjoy shamanistic music as well. But did you ever imagine Tae to bring in the bells too? What did you think?
이건 진짜 힙하다. 이거는 정말 아무도 없다.
I thought to myself, this is very hip. This is truly unprecedented. I love the sounds.
It was unfamiliar for sure. At first it was, but the person I am is naturally attracted to that. So the more something bizarre something is, the more intriguing I find it.
흔들고 이런 행위를 너무 무섭거나 안 좋게 받아들이겠다라는
I thought that this would either be a huge musical success or be considered as frightening or even uncomfortable, with the bells shaking and all. But I knew I had to use them, no matter what. Regardless of what others may say, even if I were to freeze to death, I was determined to use them.
죽어도 방울을 꼭 누가 뭐라 그래도 방울을 꼭 저는 써야겠는 거예요.
To live and die by the bells. LDBB, the CHUDAHYE.
제가 공연을 왔는데 리허설 하려고 하는데 방울을 안 가져온 거예요.
There was this one time when I realized during a rehearsal I forgot to bring the bells. I'd left them at home. I was completely floored having them quick delivered to me just 15 minutes before the performance.
기사님의 마음이 되게 궁금하더라고요. 기사님의.
We were totally relieved.
근데 더 중요한 건 저희 엄마가 더 놀라셨어요.
I thought to myself, it would have been a disaster if this had happened anywhere outside of Seoul.
싱싱 때부터 저희 부모님이 자주 놀라실까 봐.
I was very curious on what the delivery guy must have thought. The bells must have been noisy.
마지막에. 네.
너무 웃기네요.
방울도
The funnier thing was my mom's shocked reaction. I bet she thought, why do I have bells in my house? Ever since the beginning of my Sing Sing days, I've been hiding them just in case of my mom's reaction. But I ended up getting caught eventually in the final days of the band. I could barely say, those balls, I need you to wrap them and send them over to me through same-day delivery, as if I were borrowing them. That's what I said to her.
그거 있는데 그 뾱뾱이로 잘 싸가지고 그 기사님한테 보내드려야 되거든. 약간 내 거 아니라는 식으로 그렇게 말씀드렸어요.
Tae, these bells are my bells. Why can't you say that? I'm sure if your parents were to hear your songs, they would be very proud. They're almost like the life source for you, Tae. Let's take a listen to the song with the bells recorded loud and clear. The title is 사는 새, a retranslated version of Jeju Island shamanistic song 새 도림. It is sung to wash away the unclean like the demons, evil spirits, and bad things. 새도림 means to chase off a bird in Jeju dialect.
천왕새돌이죠 지왕새돌이죠 인왕새돌이죠 하늘아 부엉새 땅아래 도덕새 영락의 호박새 준지새만
I feel like my mind has been cleansed. Now that we've washed away the bad energies, it's time to soak in the good ones, right? 다혜, what's the next song?
에어리 쓴 거야는 황해도 무가 중에 하나인데요. 사실 이렇게 뱃굿에서 쓰이는 거예요.
Eori Sungoya is a shamanistic song from the province of South Hwanghae. It's actually used for a ritual taking place on a boat so that it may help the fishermen catch a lot of fish. We created the song with this title specifically so that as we repeatedly sing the chorus, which represents abundance, the listeners may really have large amounts of money and luck coming their way.
많은 돈과 복을 실어드리기 위해서 에어리 쓴 거야라고 제목을 붙이고 노래를 만들어 봤습니다.
So it prays for money and luck. So what are we waiting for? There's one more thing before we go on. She says there's a highlight to this song.
저희 팀에서 그 조수미를 담당하고 있는 김재호.
Cheo is the soprano Chosumi of our group. He sings the chorus in a high voice. He is the soprano of the group.
I've always wanted to sing. While I do sing sometimes in my other bands I'm involved in, I realized with this team that I'm pretty talented in folk singing. I got a little too into it. That's why I've been practicing in secret like this. It's so that when Dahe's schedule is unavailable, that Chagis can perform on its own without Chudahy.
He's the head of our labor union.
I've been giving my best.
Yeah, he keeps saying he will turn our group into 김재호 차지스.
저희 노조의 장이셔가지고
열심히 하고 있습니다.
네. 김재호 차지스 하겠다고 계속.
Well, I'm very much looking forward to 김재호 차지스 too. Alright, now, 에어리 쓴 거야. Dahe's raw voice in the chorus of the trio led by soprano 재호. Let's take a listen.
먹고도 남고 쓰고도 남아라 에어리 쓴 거야 넘실 돈 들어온다 에어리 쓴 거야 오늘 이 마당에 다 실어드려라 에어리 쓴 거야 다 실어드려서 다 나눠 가져라 에어리 쓴 거야 명명 타루가 잔다 명명 타루가 잔다 칠성님 전명 타루가 자 에어리 쓴 거야 복 타루가 잔다 복 타루가 잔다 재성님 전복 타루가 자 에어리 쓴 거야 돈 실러 가잔다 돈 실러 가잔다 대감님 돈 실러 가자 에어리 쓴 거야 지지 과자도 탄다 시구도 탄다 치와도 좋아 얼씨구 좋아 얼마나 좋아 미치게 좋아 에어리 쓴 거야 명명명 타루가 잔다 복복복 타루가 잔다 돈 실러 가잔다 화자도 탄다 명명명 타루가 잔다 복복복 타루가 잔다
sure everyone has noticed already that not only Tae, but the other three bandmates are total free spirits as well. The music of CHUDAHYE CHAGIS was born thanks to all of these eccentric nonconformists. But they say the paths they walked in their music careers have not always been so easy and smooth.
20대 땐 나는 성공한 적이 없었지. 실패인가 그게? 그러니까 뭐 하던 팀들이 다 잘 안 된 거면 실패라고.
I've never succeeded in my 20s, not once. Is that considered a failure? I guess the fact that none of my groups had a breakthrough could be considered as a failure, but I think there are many musicians in their 20s experiencing the same thing. For me, my 20s gave me a great experience, like fertilizer to help me grow. And that has allowed me to have much more fun doing my music in my 30s. Making music I truly like, with people I truly want to work with. My life goes on, so in hindsight, it doesn't feel like a failure. Yeah, I regard my 20s in that light.
지금 와서 보면 실패는 아닌 것 같긴 하지만 저는 20대 때가 좀 그런 시기가 아니었나 싶어요.
Doing music you like with people you like, that must be the kind of mindset that supported Cheo through all the hard times and brought him to where he is today, right? And this music created by these amazing individuals, well, need we say more? It can't not be excellent.
진짜 귀한 베이시스트예요. 그러니까 다른 팀들이나 다른 사람들도 되게 원하고.
He talks very modestly, but he's actually a valuable bassist. I have people around me who want to work with him. They say, oh, since he's with you now, we cannot steal him away.
Hey, just hand them my number. I'll be the one to decide.
Clearly, Jeho and I need to have a serious talk after this about many things.
끝나고 얘기를 좀 나눠야 될 것 같아요.
그래.
네, 많은 부분에서.
Tae, you better hold on to Jeo. Now, the two men of CHUDAHYE CHAGIS, the irreplaceable men we could never let go of. Let's see how Cheo and Tabin got to where they are today. Let's take a listen to Gadeo, Love Your Harmony. They bicker here and there, and yet are a perfect duo. Shamanistic music and black music together ended up being an unexpected yet perfect match. Black music refers to that created, produced, or inspired by those of African descent, such as soul, R&B, reggae, hip-hop. It wouldn't be an overstatement to say it's the leading genre in mainstream music. The music of CHUDAHYE CHAGIS is not a simple combination between shamanistic music and black music. However, they managed to create a whole new genre by going in depth of both genres and then unifying them together.
일단 저희가 무가랑 블랙 뮤직을 엮어야겠다라고 처음부터 생각한 거는 절대 아니었고요.
It's not that we decided to combine shamanistic music and black music together from the get-go. Rather, black music is what we've always worked with, whether in a band or not. And as we began to play on, we slowly realized the similarities between the two genres.
연주를 정말 해보다 보니까 이게 진짜 공통점이 많구나.
제가 처음에 했을 때는 이거는 세상에 없는 음악이야. 무가와 밴드가
When I first started this music, I thought to myself, this type of music has never existed before. Shamanistic music and black music have never been combined. So there were slight hesitations. Just how will this be perceived? Wouldn't it be difficult? Etc., etc. So while I was in contemplation on how to go about it, the interest of black music from within the three bandmates started to emerge to the surface little by little. Additionally, what I wanted the most was to bring out the funky sounds shamanistic music tends to have, which ended up being manifested into our music.
그런 부분을 잘 풀어보고 싶다고 먼저 얘기를 했고 곡 작업을 할 때 그런 것들이 이제 다 스민 것 같아요.
So with Thai's shamanistic music DNA and the bandmates' knowledge and experience in black music, the group took the plunge after many attempts and finally succeeded in bringing out the synergy between two genres. Dear music critic Kang Il-kwon, you had something to say.
무가를 보컬 형식으로 차용했을 때 그 음악이 아무리 좋다고 하더라도 분명히 거부감이 있을 수도 있을 텐데.
When a vocal track is derived from shamanistic music, no matter how good the music may be, it could definitely trigger some resistance in the listeners. It's the fact that the group just went for it without being too worried. What I mean is, many times what we call as a masterpiece or a historical work, they all come from the artist's reckless or adventurous attempts. So CHUDAHYE CHAGIS is highly respectable in the way that they traversed the path not taken and made achievements. In that regard, we should give them recognition.
그런 부분들에서 개념치 않고 시도해서 어떤 성과를 냈다라는 부분, 그런 부분에서 분명히 우리가 평가를 해줘야 될 것 같습니다.
A masterpiece comes from an artist's reckless attempt. What a nice praise. And when it comes to a masterpiece, everyone is bound to notice eventually, right?
제18회 한국대중음악상 시상식 최우수 R&B 앤 소울 노래 부문 수상자는요. 추다해 차지스님의 리추얼 댄스입니다.
Announced in May 2020, the song Ritual Dance from their first album Underneath the Tangsan Tree Tonight was selected as the best R&B and soul song category at the 18th Korean Music Awards, the most prestigious award ceremony in Korea. CHUDAHYE CHAGIS points out to one specific aspect of this award that they found as the most meaningful. And that's the fact that their music was evaluated under the genre of popular music and not Korean traditional music.
별나다라는 얘기도 많이 들으면서 힘들었던 순간들이 있었는데 사실 무속 음악은 전통 음악 씬에서도 음악으로 잘 다루지 않는
Truth be told, shamanistic music is underrepresented even in traditional Korean music scenes. This is due to prejudice, of course. But then, at the Korean Music Awards, they placed our music under R&B and soul category. Regardless of whether or not this is traditional music, mainstream, or underground, they were simply able to listen and evaluate without putting a specific label on it. And that was a very pleasant surprise. We've never wanted from the beginning to be just accepted in the traditional music scene, so this award meant a lot for us.
아니야, 뭐 주류야, 비주류야, 뭐 이런 거를 다 떠나서 이거는 그냥 새로운 음악이지라고 그냥 평가하셨던 부분?
Maybe we're not too far from seeing CHUDAHYE CHAGIS on the stage of KBS Music Bank. Now I think it's time for us to move on and listen to Ritual Dance, the piece that glistens with the Best R&B and Soul Award. Ritual Dance is a retranslated version of Jeju Island's shamanistic song, which took its motif from the island's representative folk song, 서우제 소리. This song is about God, spirits, and humans coming all together in one place to have fun. And of course, we can't be left out of it. Is everyone ready to dance to the rhythm? Stretch your neck side to side. Let's begin. CHUDAHYE CHAGIS has been at the center of attention, receiving much praise from the critics. But it is true that it's still a stretch to call them a familiar musician group to the public. And that's because they walk a different path from the K-pop we see on TV and already know very well.
오해하시는 게 있는데 저희는 일부러 대중적인 걸 안 하는 거 아니에요.
One thing that many people misunderstand is we're not choosing to do music that's far from popular on purpose. It's something we've heard very often for a long time. We're just simply doing something we enjoy, and I believe no one in our band has ever thought to themselves, hey, we're artists. That's why we need to do something different.
일부러 막 우린 아티스트니까
피하고 뭐 이런 게
대중적이지 않은 음악을 할 거야라고 생각한 적은 아무도 없을 거예요.
맞아요.
여기 있는 친구들 중에. 네.
남들이 안 한다고 이게 꼭 대중적이지 않다고 해서
There's no reason for us to not do it just because it's not popular or mainstream. All we have to do is create music and have fun so that we could better enjoy this precious experience and that more people could listen to us.
들을 수 있도록 지금처럼 재밌게 음악하면 되는 거니까. 네.
Such is the wave that CHUDAHYE CHAGIS is creating as it sends out an important message to K-pop music, says critic 강일권.
근데 한국 대중음악씬 같은 경우는 우리가 이제 K-팝이라 부르는
In the case of the Korean mainstream music scene, it is extremely centered around the music we know as K-pop and idol music. And the media itself is very overpowering in the way it has a monotonous flow. In the midst of it all, to live as an artist means having to face some realistic issues, like financial stability, and that, of course, makes it very difficult to even make an attempt. Yet, the way they didn't let those obstacles get in the way and achieve this much deserves high praise. And I believe it may be time for the media to stop focusing so much on standardized scenes and instead be more interested in artists who are paving their own way and building their careers in their own styles. At least provide a space for them to show themselves to the public.
성과를 냈다라는 지점에서 굉장히 우리가 호평을 해야 될 것 같고요.
The music of CHUDAHYE CHAGIS is a repetition of quote-unquote nevertheless. Shamanistic music is still largely regarded with prejudice, and they may even fall short because of how non-mainstream they are. But, nevertheless, they've been bold in their consistent attempts. Perhaps because we have musicians like them, the ecosystem of Korean pop music, in my opinion, is becoming much more fruitful and healthy.
현재는 유일무이 그룹인 것 같아요. 대체될 수 없는.
As of right now, there is nobody else quite like us. We're irreplaceable. There really is no other group that can say they are associated with shamanistic rituals. That's a fact.
저는 그걸 들었을 때 진짜 좋은
Tae
이름을
obtained a business
지었다라고
license called Minority Group Company, and as soon as I heard it, I thought it was brilliant. She told me it's about focusing on the ones that remain, just on the few things, and that itself has a huge meaning.
저희밖에 없어서 그런 것도 있고.
Well, I could be exaggerating a bit, but I really think we are a treasure in Korea's music industry. Not in the grandiose sense, but just like what Dahae said, because we're the only ones doing this music, and that gives us and our music the right to stand on the side of the minorities. I think very highly of ourselves, and I'm proud of us. And I think our team could open a window for more minority music, just as long as we stay diligent.
팀이 될 수 있다고 생각해요. 앞으로 저희가 꾸준히만 하면.
다수민족이 되는 그날까지.
Until the day we become the majority? No, being a part of this minority is great too. But it would be nice to be more popular.
근데 조금 더 인기는 많았으면 좋겠네요.
How dare you want to have both artistry and popularity? Sounds fair. He who craves popularity shall receive popularity. So don't be so humble and show us your charm.
익숙함의 차이인 것 같아요. 그래서 그냥 어필을 한다면
At the end of the day, it's a matter of familiarity. So if I could make an attractive suggestion, I want our listeners to experience the music with an open mind, apart from the fact that it originates from shamanism and whatnot.
I personally think if you listen to it with your heart, the barrier is certainly not high.
않다고 생각을 해요. 네.
CHUDAHYE CHAGIS, the name itself also means our music is yours. Well, let's make it our own. I have already fallen in love, so let's take a listen together.
차지로다 우리 모두의 차지로다 우리 모두의 차지로다 복 받아가요 여러분의 차지로 다 받아가요 여러분의 차지로 다 받아가요 다 지나가요 힘든 서러움 아픔도 다 지나가요 힘든 서러움 아픔도 다 지나가요 차지로다 차지로다 이제 우리 복 받을 차지로다 이제 우리 복 받을 차지로다 나의 차지 너의 차지 나의 차지 나의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 나의 차지 너의 차지 나의 차지 나의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 여자의 차지 여자의 차지 남자의 차지 남자의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 잘난 사람 차지 잘난 사람 차지 못난 사람 차지 못난 사람 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 재수의 차지 재수의 차지 수망의 차지 소망의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 여기에도 차지 여기에도 차지 저기에도 차지 저기에도 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 오늘도 니 차지 오늘도 니 차지 내일도 니 차지 내일도 니 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 너의 차지 너의 차지 나의 차지 나의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지 너의 차지 너의 차지 나의 차지 나의 차지 우리의 차지 우리의 차지 모두의 차지 모두의 차지
I really hope you guys are enjoying it as much as I am. And as it is such a new type of music, we're very curious how they think of themselves. Could you describe your music by a color?
한 가지 색채는 아닌 것 같아요. 뭐 되게 앨범마다 다른데
I can't think of just one color. When I listen to our albums, I notice each one is very distinct from each other. So I would say it would be a combination. Perhaps a rainbow?
Shall I say red? I just think it's a color of passion. Red is what I think of first and foremost. White for me, because it can be anything it wants. It's not anything. I feel white is the most suitable.
For me, apricot? When I listen to our songs, I feel that it's very ambiguous. It's a big strength of ours, so I thought the color of apricot.
애매하거든요. 되게. 그게 장점이기도 하고.
So for everyone that's here today, we got to listen to CHUDAHYE CHAGI's music together. What is it you feel? What do you think? Because whatever that is the right answer. CHUDAHYE CHAGI's music belongs to the listener's own 차지 after all. You've been listening to KBS World Radio Special, Beyond K-Pop. We hope you enjoyed our episode on CHUDAHYE CHAGIS. Our next guest is the musician's musician, Sunwoo Jung-ah. Don't miss the next episode, and this has been Sam Kim. Thank you so much for tuning in.